Hello there everyone, welcome back to, as you can see, a name change. It is the Raw Reflection. That's what we're going to go with going forward, and we've got the SmackDown Scrutiny as well going forward.
Took us a long time to come up with those, didn't it?
Yeah. Just a little bit of a revamp to the names going forward with a bit of a thumbnail just to give it a bit more of a better look. But as always, on a Raw on a Tuesday when we do these reviews, I am joined by the amazing Acidic Soul.
Hello there.
How are we doing, dude?
I'm alright, thanks, mate. You?
I'm good. Ready to get into this. So,
Yeah, well, it's good because he's been playing 2K23.
I've been playing 2K23.
And he's loving it, I think, aren't you, mate?
I'm loving it. Videos are already out on my channel. I would have had 3, but unfortunately, one of them got blocked completely. Basically, without
Right to censor.
Right, yeah, let's not go there because after Right to Censor the other day, honestly, see, I know about this now because I started to play Know Your Role on the PS1 with Saw the other day, and I never want to do it again, ever. But no, 2K is amazing. Again, should have 3 videos. One got blocked. It was the Cena RVD part of the showcase, which is not a spoiler. It's just in there. And basically, it pretty much do want to take that 6 minutes out. And I was like, no. So, in my Discord, there's going to be a link to hopefully a way to watch those videos if you're interested in them. However, we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw. And speaking of 2K, just before we get anywhere, because I was recording content, I actually ended up missing the first hour of Raw because it was an hour before it's supposed to start.
He says that he just got addicted to playing 2K23. This guy, I tell you.
Leave me alone. Point being is, I believe it's because they're in Rhode Island, in Providence, that it was on an hour earlier. So usually I would do 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. watching Raw, writing notes down. It was 12 till 3 today. 12 till 3 in the morning. So I missed the first hour. So for the first hour, pretty much, Soul's going to be taking over.
Exciting times, eh?
Because, well, I missed a lot from my notes itself. So Soul, would you like to take us away with, first of all, we're in Providence, Rhode Island, I believe, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Near New York, we think. We
yes,
worked that out
well, yeah.
before we went live.
So I actually don't know a lot about the first hour because I missed it and I didn't go back and read up on it. So Soul, what Soul's going to tell me actually is going to be new to me and new to you guys if you're watching. So take it away.
Well, we opened the show with Egg coming out. He was out in the ring probably for a couple of minutes. A big crowd reaction, obviously, for Egg, and was thanking all the fans. And then the Judgment Day come out. Egg had some really good lines in this segment he had with Finn because Finn wanted to know what Egg had to say. He said he agreed with like the crowd because and for once he's going to agree with the crowd. I want to know what you've got to say, Egg. And Egg was like, "Oh, there's this challenge for us to fight at Wrestlemania." There was first of all, Egg said, "Oh." But once you hear what I've got to say, you're just going to get the Addams family there, Lurch, Pugsley, and Wednesday to come down here and beat me up. So that did crack me up a bit, making that reference. But he said, yeah, I'll accept your match at WrestleMania. He says, because I've already wasted too much time on you guys and I'm running out of time to accomplish the things that I want to do. Because obviously, with he spent the first sort of he spent the last year of his comeback fighting these guys and he's had enough of it. And before that, he was fighting in front of TV screens in the audience, and he's got things he wants to get done, and he can't do it until he's settled it with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, because he faced Randy Orton when he came back, because that was the whole storyline. COVID happened right after we returned for the Royal Rumble, and so that made Randy versus Edge in the Thunderdome, basically,
Mm-hmm.
for WrestleMania. Then the year after, I believe it was Bryan, Roman, and Edge
Yep.
in the
That's
main
WrestleMania.
event because Edge won the Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the Rumble.
Rumble. Yep.
And then yeah, ends up being the Edge and AJ was last year, was it not? Was Edge and AJ last year?
Could have been. It could.
I think it was because didn't
I
because
thought
Edge
2 years. When did Drew? Yeah. Yeah, because Daniel Bryan's been in AEW a while now,
yeah, I
hasn't
thought
he?
Edge and AJ was last year's WrestleMania because
Mm-hmm.
Edge came out in the purple attire because that's when he was heel, and
Mm.
he had and in following weeks he had Finn join him, Damien Priest join him, and Rhea Ripley
Yeah.
join him.
Mm-hmm.
Then he ended up getting taken out by Finn, and he took
Yep.
over the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it led to Clash at the Castle, where basically it was Dom,
Ray and
Dom,
Edge.
Ray, and Edge versus
Mm-hmm.
Finn. Well, I think it was Ray and Edge versus Damien Priest and Finn Balor at that point.
Finn, yeah, and that was when
Dom
Dom turned
turned
and
on
joined,
Edge and joined the Judgment Day. Yeah, so
and
since last
Edge
year's
and Ray
WrestleMania,
had a little hug in the ring.
oh, bless him, bless him a lot. But yeah, so last year, like I say, was the AJ match, which is weird to think about actually,
Mm.
considering.
Yeah, how quickly that year's gone.
Yeah, yeah. And like I say, on the same card was Stone Cold and bloody Kevin Owens, mind you.
Yep.
Actually, let's have a quick gander. Sorry to go off topic slightly. WrestleMania 38, wasn't it? Yes,
Yeah,
it was WrestleMania
38.
38. So the matches were indeed. We'll have a quick scout through the matches itself. If I can find them properly, let's just go down. It was in fact Usos against Nakamura and Rick Booge. That's where he was out for like a year.
Mm.
Drew defeat Happy Corbin. Miz and Logan defeat Ray and Dominic. Bianca
Mm-hmm.
defeats Becky. Cody defeats Seth. Charlotte beats Ronda. Stone Cold beats Kevin. RK Bro defeat all the other tag teams. Bobby
Mm-hmm.
defeated Omos. Knoxville defeated Sami Zayn.
Yep.
Sasha Banks and Naomi won the tag titles. Look at that turned out.
Mm.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland defeated the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
Pat McAfee beat Austin Theory.
Yep.
Mr. McMahon defeated Pat McAfee. You remember? And
Yes.
Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar. And on that same card
Mm.
was Edge beating AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Which was actually the longest match
ago.
on each night. It went 24
Mhm.
minutes, that match. It was
Well,
the longest
yeah.
match of any night. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Finn, Edge did admit though that the Judgment Day is better with Finn as a leader. They've got more accomplished with him than um, Edge had ever done
Mm-hmm.
while he was with Judgment Day. Edge then said that it's got to be settled once and for all, and so at WrestleMania he wants Hell in a Cell, which is pretty good. The thing that really got me here was that they had like a picture of the Judgment Day standing there, and when Edge said Hell in a Cell, the look on Rhea Ripley's face, she was not happy by this stipulation. She looked shocked. Um,
Wonder why.
Finn made a reference that is fine with Hell because about something about it's been in Hell before and demons and stuff. So I don't. Maybe we'll get Demon Finn Balor at
I
Hell
hope
in a
so.
Cell.
I hope so.
Yeah. And at that point, he sent the Adams family down to attack Edge, so that Edge sort of tries to fight them off, and they start beating them up. Numbers game, and then Gargano, Loomis, and Candice LeRae racing to make the save, and we get an ad break.
Oh, gotta love an ad break where we don't need an
And
ad
the
break.
reason we had the ad break was because, and the other reason Gargano and Loomis and Candice had come out is because the actual first match of the night is Gargano and Loomis versus Priest and Dom.
Ooh, sounds
So
like a tasty match. That does actually. Thinking about it.
yeah, it was one of the better matches on the card. This one's again suffers with the sort of same as we've had the last couple of weeks. The card, there's some good matches, and then there's some not so good matches. We'll
Right.
be a bit diplomatic there. Um, so it's Dom and Gargano to start off. There's a bit of back and forth. Um, Dom then finally makes a tag after being thrown about for a bit.
Mhm.
Priest is in, and Gargano sort of standing there looking up at him, and he's sort of you're thinking, is he actually going to try and fight Damian Priest because the size difference is just insane? And then he sort of backs away, holds his hand out, and Dexter Lumis makes the tag. So Lumis gets in, and something I've never noticed about him is how agile he is. He's doing
He's
all
ridiculous.
these, yeah, because he's such a big guy, and he's moving about. He's doing like all these flips and arm bars and flips up, and I'm thinking, how the hell is he managing to pull all this off? A guy his size,
I think
and then
what
he,
I think
oh,
for me, a lot of it is, I think that's what makes Dexter a bit scary as well. In terms of, I
mm,
know he's immune and his character, but you think, oh, he's going to be slow, methodical, and all of a sudden he's just doing flips out of nowhere. It's like, oh,
mm,
okay, like he's a full package. I'd like him to talk, but at the same
mm,
time, he could do some really good stuff. We'll see where that goes with it. But yeah, sorry.
mm-hmm. Then does this drop kick on Priest, and he jumps up, and literally, when he jumps up for this drop kick, he must get above the ropes in height just from standing and jumping. It looked crazy how high he got on this drop kick. I couldn't believe it, and sent the drop kick sent Priest flying out of the ring. Um, we then got some sort of just the usual Judgment Day antics to get back in control with um, Rhea doing stuff to distract, um, Dom getting in, cheap shot in, and eventually, uh, after they'd beaten up Loomis for a while, hang on, my notes have just gone. Then they were beating up Loomis for a while. Um, Dom did the Three Amigos on
Oh,
Loomis,
of course he
and
did. The
that got
bastardly heel.
really set the crowd off. They've been booing him all match, but they really kicked off when he went for that. Um, Loomis still kicked out though. We Dom then tripped him up and had him hooked on the ropes, so we knew what was coming next. The old 619, but he missed that. Loomis managed to get out of the way in time. On the outside, then Candice uh, was attacked by Rhea. First of all, Rhea came over to her, and Candice sort of pushed her into the steps. But it didn't really bother Rhea that much, and she got her up, put Candice on her shoulders, and dropped her face first onto the uh,
No need.
guardrail that stops the crowd from getting in.
Yes.
Um, so at that point, Gargano was down checking on her, and so it was basically Loomis versus all of them. Dom hit a 5-star on Dexter for a close 2 count. Then, like I say, Candice and Gargano were out of it, and there was the Dom made the tag. Priest come in, hit the South of Heaven on Loomis, got him super high up with that, slammed him down, and the Judgment Day won the match.
Oh. So
I
what?
actually meant to say that I did predict Judgment Day to
Nice.
win this.
So what did you give the match?
I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was a pretty decent match. The ending was all, I wasn't too much bothered about the ending because it wasn't a proper distraction finish. Gargano, Dom, Dexter, and Priest were all good in the match. It was definitely one of the better matches of the night.
Nice. Um, yeah, that sounds, from what you've just said there, it sounds like it was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
Probably an enjoyable one at that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
definitely
the
one
Judgment
of the
Day.
better ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking, if I'm hearing that, and I'm looking through my notes, and yeah, It definitely, Joe. I think the second hour of this show is always the weakest, and I don't
Hmm.
understand why. Because
I,
I
I,
see you what like if you're gonna do 3 hours, I personally feel you should have some good matches to start off with. First hour, but you
mm,
want to build up in the second hour. There's no point having these squash matches or some little crappy quick matches in there to elongate an hour because the whole reason you went to 3 hours is because you couldn't fit it all on. Well,
mm,
you don't need 3 hours anymore. I would
no,
hype up the second hour, so when it comes to the third hour, you're glued in for the last hour, like, okay, right, what's going to happen now?
yeah,
Rather than, here's Piper Niven versus Nikki Cross from last week that lasted a minute 27, something super like that.
mm,
I'd rather see, like, for instance, you could have put the main event in
mm,
this slot, or what you could have done is the Edge Judgment Day, keep it here.
hmm,
Then the Cody LA Knight match, which I knew about because of social media, you could have put that in the second hour. That would have hyped the
yeah,
crowd up massively. And
mm,
like you kind of section it off. So your big three matches you've got on a card, let's say, you have them like maybe at the start of the first, in between the second, and on the third. So you have something that you go, oh, and it just keeps you involved. But from like essentially the first hour, from what I've heard,
hmm,
you also just told me the Edge Judgment Day. I know Cody LA Knight was a good match, but
yeah,
I don't know
hmm,
what happened in it. I've seen people raving about LA Knight and having a good match.
hmm,
You've got two really good matches, but you've had it in the first hour. And then I've obviously got the second hour onwards, and I'm
hmm,
just not happy with it.
hmm.
You
The
know?
last match was another really good one, and there was one more that was decent, but the rest were just not very
Yeah.
good. And like you say, it's last week we had three matches in a row, I think, that were all in the second hour, and they were all sort of maximum 5 minutes each. They were just sort of pointless squash matches
Yeah.
that were a waste of time. And as you said, we don't really need that. Um, yeah.
So,
Okay.
next. So, we get obviously Judgment Day winning, and it's a
Hmm.
3.5, you say, out of 5?
Yep, 3.5 out of 5 for
Hey,
that.
what's next?
Kathy Kelly and The Miz are backstage. Gable has lost an Otis. So he's asking if they've seen him. No, and then Miz says, "Oh, why don't you put some posters up?" So Gable goes, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Rushes off to make some posters. Uh, Kathy Kelly asks if Miz wants a co-host backstage for co-host for WrestleMania. And then, as they're talking about that, we hear a load of backstage commotion, and the camera sort of races over. And we've got all three members of Damage Control attacking Trish. And she took quite a pace in here. She's getting thrown into
I
things.
saw a picture earlier today
Hmm.
of Trisha's side of the eye. She's bruised.
Yeah, she
She
got a.
she took a hit.
Yeah. Um, and so they're all just basically throwing her about and laughing at her. Yeah, that's quite a good little segment. The Otis stuff is funny. I'm quite enjoying this sort of Otis stuff, and like we discussed, hopefully it'll lead to Gable getting a singles push
Yeah. I think
in the
he's ready for a
future.
title.
Hmm.
My personal belief, I think he's ready for a title.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, again, I don't know when that title's gonna come about, but I still think he's ready for a title nevertheless.
Because you've got Omos, not Omos. You've got
Otis,
Theory and Gunther as the
yes,
champions at the moment,
and
haven't you?
I personally, again, we'll do the predictions before WrestleMania comes
Mm,
about. With obviously each week as it comes about. However,
mm.
I don't think they're losing their titles.
No, no, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't see it happening personally.
Hmm.
Um, so obviously, as we go through Edge Judgment Day, we've then had, as you said, Damage Control taking out Trish, and
Yeah. Then we
then
get Omos is here.
right, okay. So
Wonderful one.
I've seen a little bit about this.
Hmm.
All I pretty much saw was Omos and MVP make their way down to the ring in what looks like a meme.
Hmm.
Then Omos putting his hand out to shake Brock's hand, and Brock going, "That's a
Before
big
that,
hand."
we got this.
Oh,
All
Omos
he's
doing
doing
his
in the ring, rubbing his palms for about 3 or 4 minutes. That was all Omos was doing.
Right, okay.
But he's very good at rubbing his palms together.
It's the only thing he's good at. Anyway, so the next bit I see is, again, these are just snippets. I see Brock and Omos go for a handshake, and basically Brock's like, "You've got a big hand." Omos doesn't let go, so Brock stamps on his foot. He goes to suplex Omos, and then Omos fails to put Brock Lesnar over the top rope.
Yeah, you pretty much got everything that happened.
So I will tell you right now, before we go to the end of the award show, Omos is getting his own award again.
Yeah.
No, there's time yet. But what I will say is, if Omos can't even come over the top rope properly, with, by the way, a hand on the face, it shouldn't be that difficult. And Brock lands on his feet, for crying out loud. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sold for this match. I'm really not sold at all.
I mean, there was a bit when Omos and Brock are standing there facing each other. The crowd are all chanting "Holy shit!" And I was thinking, is that what they think of this match? It's going to be shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that did impress me a bit is because you're used to how big Lesnar is, but the fact that his head only reaches the bottom of Omos's neck, I did think, oh, that's quite a picture. But that was about it. There's nothing else. The handshake and then the cocking up of getting Brock out of the ring. And even Corey Graves was like, oh, yeah, it's really difficult to throw Brock out of the ring. And I thought, no, it's not. He's just fudged it up. Trash again. We then got a recap on the Jay and Sammy betrayal and Cody coming down to save them. And then also last Friday's SmackDown, where Cody came out and was talking to the Usos, and then Sammy rushed out and attacked him, and Cody came in as well. And all this was leading up to Cody versus LA Knight.
A match I was excited for, and I completely missed.
Yeah. Now, one thing I've got to say, I like AEW. The difference in reaction Cody gets in WWE to what he was getting in AEW when he was sort of on the verge of leaving is absolutely insane. He got so much hate from the crowd in AEW, and he was meant to be a babyface as well.
Yeah.
And now he's so over in WWE at the moment. It's just boggles my mind how two crowds can be so completely different.
Oh, I know.
And it's exactly the same gimmick as he had in AEW. There's no difference to the gimmick at all. Still the American Nightmare, same music, same clothing as well. But yeah, just different. He came out with a little belt and gave it to a kid again, so that was all nice. Well, you haven't got any notes on this, have you? So I'll go through the match. Started off with a collar and elbow tie-up, and so they were sort of stuck in that for quite a while, each trying to get control over each other, until LA Knight sort of pushed Cody into the corner, and they refs break the hold, so they break the hold, and then LA Knight, typical LA Knight thing, gets a cheap shot in on Cody. That sort of sparked Cody up though, because after that he went full sort of Cody Rhodes, arm drags, hip tosses, punching volleys, barrages of punches, even volleys. And he was going to town on LA Knight. They could have easily booked this to be a bit of a short squash match, but they didn't. It ended up being quite a competitive contest, thankfully.
That's what I'm happy for. As soon as you said they could have booked this to be a squash match, you are right. But apparently people are very impressed with LA Knight. As they should be, may I add. We've said it time and time again, haven't we? LA Knight, for what he's done, has been amazing. They've moved him over to Raw at the moment, and he's kind of dwindling because the Bray Wyatt story finished anyway. Bray Wyatt is out with a injury, I think it is at the moment.
Yeah.
I think he's out with a injury, some kind of physical injury. I know that much. A lot of people saying he's walked out on WWE. I don't think that's true, and we're not here to go through the rumors and all that crap.
No.
But it's now not going anywhere. Would
Yeah.
I like to see LA Knight and Bobby Lashley? Yes.
Mania, yeah, that'd be.
Just because they're the last two people to have contact with Bray, basically.
Mm.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
Where was I? There was a suicide dive by Cody, but to the outside. But LA Knight managed to block it with a big punch, and it looked like it pretty much knocked Cody out because he was just sort of strung up in the ropes after LA Knight had hit it, and that allowed him to get back in control for a while. Knight's a very agile guy. Jumped straight up the top ropes so he could hit a superplex as Cody was taking his time getting up there. And it went on. We then got another awesome looking Cody cutter. I
Those
love
Cody
that move.
cutters.
It just looks incredible. The way he manages to jump backwards off the turnbuckle, catch someone, and drop him in a cutter. I could see that over and over again. Then that was a near two fall. Get up, bit more offense by Cody, and then he puts the crossroads on, and we get a win for Cody.
Lovely. What did you give this match in the end?
I gave it a 3. Again, one of the better matches of the night. And I went into it expecting it to be a squash match, and I'm
Right.
glad it wasn't. But that wasn't all from Cody, because we then had a Cody Rhodes promo after the match. It was he was going on about how Paul Heyman's been saying that, oh, Cody, you shouldn't be getting involved in bloodline business. You're making this personal now between Roman and yourself. And Cody's like, well, of course it's personal. It's personal to me. It's personal to all the fans as well. All that I've been waiting all my life for this, and this is going to be my moment. You keep telling me that I should acknowledge Roman, but he should be acknowledging me, which I thought was a bit of a thing to say because that gets brought up again later. And he then pretty much he guaranteed that he's going to be defeating Roman on WrestleMania. Yeah, he said this generational run with the title is going to come to an end at WrestleMania. So we can wait and see. But
We want that to happen?
You could see the crowd really believed it.
That's what you need. But do we believe it?
I don't. Do I want it to happen? Yes. Do I believe it's going to happen? No. I want to see it happen because I think the bloodline stuff is starting to run its course. I think Roman needs a holiday.
Yeah, Roman, and again, a lot of people, oh, he's not wrestled much. Admitted, but he will have done all the outside stuff, right? He would have done all the interviews and the, talk shows and podcasts and all of this. He would have done, outside of WWE, whilst constantly being on the travel on the road. So it's one of those really where you look at it and you go, right. Does Roman deserve a holiday? Yes. Has he basically carried the company on his back for the past 3 years? Yes. Now's your chance, and Cody, yes, is probably the best one to do it, but
we're in a sticky situation with it
again
because I'd have liked to see Sammy win it.
Yeah.
But realistically, Roman's got to lose. You'd think Roman's got to lose the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That would make sense. They should have really had Sammy versus Roman at WrestleMania for at least on one of the nights. Possibly having Roman wrestle each night at WrestleMania. But it's got, to me now, people are saying, "Oh, Sammy should still win it," but it's got to be someone that Roman hasn't faced before that beats him. I think it's
Yeah.
got to be someone new. So if not Cody, we're then got to. I'd love to see someone like Johnny Gargano beat him, but do we see that happening? No.
Exactly. Going forward, I think if Cody wins the belts at Mania,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think on the next night on Raw, he should do an open challenge for one of the other titles.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to separate the titles, Cody wins both, and he's like, I don't want to defend both. I'm going to put up the SmackDown, an open challenge, whichever one they want, want to challenge for, they can challenge for. And basically, you have someone beat Cody.
Yes. No, I reckon that's very good. Because, as we've said loads of times on this thing, they've got to split the belts up. They can't keep it.
Yeah. So I think you have interference as someone gets the title off of Cody, or Cody fight at the start of the show and at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Because Cody will. Cody will do a double match, I reckon. And I just think someone needs to take that belt off of Cody. Maybe a returning superstar could take the belt off of Cody straight away, and you split the brands up and go, right, here we go. Do what you want to do, but now there's 2 belts, 2 different shows. Same with the Usos. Like, I'm not saying that all needs to happen on the Raw after Mania, but at least some way to get the titles away from each other. Have the titles on 2 separate brands. So, at this point, I've now just tuned into Raw itself.
Yay.
Yeah, so after about an hour's worth of me missing crap, basically.
Well, you missed pretty much the best part, mate. So
yeah, I'm very
from
annoyed
the
at
final match, you've missed all the best bits.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read my notes, see where I'm at. Right, so yeah, I come in, basically, where Seth Rollins is backstage.
Yeah, with Sexton.
Yes, with Sexton. And he basically turns around and he goes, Logan, you basically won the lottery. You've got you hit the shot of a lifetime. Miz interrupts, basically saying that, just to let you know, as the host of WrestleMania, I'm a knob. No, that's not what he said. What he actually said was, in ring next week is a exclusive Impulsive TV. And Miz is the guest. That's not going to be an Impulsive TV. That's going to be a 2-minute talk, 5-minute fight. Let's be honest. But we're thinking, okay, Baron then comes in to the fray. My first 5 minutes are greeted by the Miz and Baron Corbin. I already wanted to turn my screen off. That's where I was at this point. Again, I've just been recording content for 2K. At that point, I found out one of my videos is blocked completely. I was pissed off. I didn't want to see Corbin and Miz on my screen at this point. So, basically says, if do you need help? Do you need a co-host for WrestleMania? And they basically make up the match where if Corbin beats Seth tonight, then Miz may put in a word for Baron to be the co-host at WrestleMania. So the funny lines. Sorry, go on.
But how did they get to this?
So
what was it that set Corbin off to go to this match?
So what basically happened was, they were on about Corbin was trying to help Seth, saying, against Logan Paul, I'm a 3-time Golden Gloves boxing champ. I can teach a few things. And Seth goes, well, I'd rather take box lessons from my daughter.
Who's 2 years.
Who's 2 years old. So that pissed Corbin off, rightfully so. And so he gets set for Seth versus Corbin. Now, part of me thought this was going to be next. I would have rather had this than what I got next.
You got a real treat for your first match of the night, didn't you?
The best treat I could ever ask for in terms of crap. So,
at least it weren't Omos.
The one thing I'm worried about is we've now got no direction for basically a lot of people. This is where I think it's come to through. You're just having matches on TV to have matches. There's no storyline. It feels a lot like, to me, what AEW kind of dark is for is the
Yes,
middle
yeah.
part of Raw. It's you guys go and have a match, and if we like what we see, if you think we're good enough, we might chuck you in a storyline. We might do this, and the second hour seems to be a kind of tester period to see who's over and who's not. That's what main event's for. That's
I like
what.
that analogy of AEW Dark. This is exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, the second hour to me, we said this before, didn't we? Before we actually started, we're getting annoyed. At a point where 3 hours is long, and I don't mind staying up 1 till 4 to watch it. I watch it. I enjoy doing this. This is why I watch it. But the issue lies with the second hour is always the worst hour on any show, and it's because I truly believe it is AEW Dark at that point. It is right. We've got some talent. We don't know what to do with them. Here's a show. Here's an hour. Go put on a show.
Half the time, it's like they're drawing names out of hats,
Yeah.
isn't it? And just throwing them into a match
It
together
literally
to see how
feels
it
like
goes.
that. Yeah, it literally feels like they've got the Royal Rumble spin thing at the back again. They've got it out of storage. They're spinning it around and go, "Oh, number 22. Oh, it's Elias against number 4. Oh, it's Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
There's your match," which is what we had next. So, if that is the case, and it's the second hour is more for talent to get a chance on mainstream, I don't mind it, but try and make us aware that that's what you're doing without tell us you're doing it. Try and make us aware that the second hour is not necessarily there for storyline purposes. You get a couple of promos here and there, but matches aren't actually storyline. They're just kind of matches as fillers to show off the talent and see if they're over or not over. See what kind of reaction they get. Because we get Elias versus Bronson Reed next, as said. And, well, this was a squash match.
This is one of my 2 lines, and that's it for me. Notes job.
I got a couple of lines in on this, and it was more kind of like it was like move to move analysis rather than
of
what
all
actually
Bronson's moves.
Yes.
It was hitting.
So it goes as follows. Oh, prediction: Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
It goes as follows: Bronson squashes Elias. Headbutt. Elias fights back, or does he? Stiff clothesline. 2 count. Let's go Elias chance. Elias comeback. Never mind. Jumping knee. Doesn't do much. Flattened. Cyclone power slam. Tsunami. You're dead. 2 out of 5.
Yeah. I gave it 1.5 out of 5.
That's my notes. This Bronson Reed does not look strong by squashing Elias. Like Bronson Reed needs somebody like Chad Gable, right? Who
Otis.
I would say Otis, and that's on size wise, but Joe actually wrestling wise, Bronson Reed needs someone like a Johnny, right, or Santos Escobar. Go back to the NXT Bronson. He was with wrestlers. That match of Santos versus Bronson Reed for the NXT North American Championship is one of the best matches for that title I've seen. And that's excluding the ladder match because, whoa, that's on another level. But the issue what I've got here is, I'm not saying Elias can't wrestle. What I'm saying is Elias doesn't wrestle. You see him have certain moves. They have their... I think this is also where I want to put out something about the AEW Dark kind of scenario. You give them star moves, is what I like to call them. Moves that get a pop from the crowd. Moves that make you go, holy shit. Right? The jumping knee looks effective from Elias because of how he's built. It gets a pop. But anything else Elias does doesn't really get a pop.
No.
Bronson Reed doing the Cyclone Power Slam looks good. But doesn't necessarily get a pop. It's a the Tsunami is a star move. It's a finisher, but it gets a pop. Oh my god, Bronson Reed's off the top rope.
Yeah.
Right?
And someone his size jumping off the top rope is an impressive sight, isn't it?
Right. So that's the thing that I go with star moves, and that's what I've started to call some of this, is you get, like the Cody Cutter necessarily isn't a signature. It's not a finisher. No. The Cody Cutter is there to make the crowd go, oh my god, did you just see what happened?
Yeah, it looks impressive, don't it?
The V-Trigger from Kenny Omega isn't there as a signature because he does it 6 or 7 times in a match. What it's there for is him to hit that knee so hard, you think he's knocked out his opponent, and the crowd go, holy sh... Right? That's a star move. Elias's jumping knee is the star move. You know you're getting a pop when he hits the move because it looks good.
Yeah.
Chad Gable's dragon screw is a star move, right? Exactly your reaction then. It looks painful. Oh my god. And he knows that. That's why he goes back to the well. Seth Rollins, superplex into a Falcon Arrow. It's not. The buckle bomb is technically the signature. The stomp is the finisher. The superplex into the Falcon Arrow is basically it's a star move. It's one that the crowd go, oh my god, because he's gone off the top rope in a superplex position, and then he's hit a Falcon Arrow straight down. Right? Like that, there is a star move. I think that's what people have started to forget with a lot of things, is you go back to like Taker, right? And this is a little tangent, but you'll see where I'm going with this. You go back to Taker, the chokeslam, the last ride, the tombstone power driver, and the Hell's Gate, and also the old school, they all put away opponents. But the one thing Taker necessarily didn't have was a star move. He had obviously the comeback and the running leg drop and stuff like that. But everything Undertaker did looked like it hurt or looked like it could put you away, because that's how Undertaker was portrayed. You got the character over, not the move over. And I think that's where the issue lies with some of these, is you're trying to get a move over. Montez Ford is over because of how he performs, not how he performs a frog splash. Yeah. You know, Montez Ford is a wacky man, and I love him. Austin Theory is the same kind of person. He hasn't got necessarily a star move. He's just a damn good wrestler. You know, Brock Lesnar does a suplex, does an F5, Kimura lock. These are stuff that can put people away, but not a star move. I mean, Suplex City is a signature in all fairness. You know, Baron Corbin has the under the rope slide, back under the rope, punch, star move. Yeah. You get a pop from it because Baron does that. The Sami Zayn tornado DDT where he jumps through the side of the post when he used to do it all the time. Star move gets a pop from the crowd, right? Sorry for the tangent, but this is what I feel where we're getting to a point where we're trying to get moves over and not people over. If that makes sense to you. That's what I feel like the second hour with AEW Dark is as well, because it's trying to get people over. Okay, cool, but what can you show me in that 2 hours? What move? Oh, you've hit a jumping knee. Anyone can hit a jumping knee. It just looks good from Elias.
Yeah, certain people were going to make certain moves look better when they hit them, aren't they? Because of their physique or whatever.
Yeah. So, we go backstage, and basically, Chad Gable's still looking for Otis at this point.
Yeah, he's got posters now, hasn't he?
Yes, he's got posters. He's going around going, can you help me find my friend?
Oh, dear. Get a brief bit of Becky and later, don't we? Who don't want to talk. They just sort of go into the medical or trainer room or whatever it is.
Yeah, and trying to say, and like I say, Becky and Lee just walk straight in. That's it. We get a recap of Theory and John Cena. I need to change my page.
Got
Here we
the
go.
KO interview as well, haven't we?
Yes. So sorry about that. Just finding my page again. Yeah. So recap of Theory Cena. Look, I think this. I said this before, and we'll get onto it a little bit later on. This is where Theory can become a heel megastar. If he beats Cena. If he beats Cena is the key point. But yes, we go backstage, and KO basically says Sammy's been asking KO for help. He doesn't need Sammy, and he doesn't need Cody. But he doesn't want to be the reason why Cody loses at WrestleMania. So he asked politely, Cody, do not come out.
Because we saw him talking, didn't we, backstage?
Yes. I didn't notice this until it was pointed out to me on WWE, like TikTok or whatever it was at the time, YouTube Short. Oh, Kevin Owens and Cody talking in the back.
Yeah. They've got quite good at inserting these little things in the background of things going on now.
See, this is the whole thing I love about if you're going to get a plate spinning. You put a little thing there and you start to introduce it. Like, you might get a confrontation backstage where you see, like the Hurt Business, nothing's been done about it. But you see MVP, Shelton, and Cedric all talking. Spin the plate a little bit. Create a bit of, ooh, because people go, oh my God, and then you get a reaction. So you look at people's reactions, you gauge, oh, people like that. Spin it a bit more. Start to get things in motion. We get a recap, and I forgot the promos. I put great promos, and I forgot completely who it was. There was another recap.
There's a Cena segment recap.
I think I put great
Theory
promos for that.
backstage with the
No,
Street Profits.
that's after. I think it is the Oh no, sorry. It's up next was the recap of Theory Cena, but we get KO first. Then we get the great promo because it's the recap, and then backstage, Baby John.
Yeah,
that is a compliment. Like that is one of the best and biggest compliments you could get in that business. Oh, you're a Baby John Cena. Well, look at John Cena, what he's done. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
It basically says, oh, you're nothing but a choke artist. And every time Theory wants to say, he's like, yeah, let's talk about that. Found that a little bit overused. There was 3 times that it goes, yeah, let's talk about that. You don't that doesn't need to become a thing. No, you don't need to say let's talk about that. Just get on with it and rip into him. But I love this Theory. I love this Austin Theory. He's arrogant, he's a knob end, and he hasn't got a selfie. He hasn't got a phone to take selfies.
No, thank goodness.
Honestly, that is the biggest change out of everything for him, is dropping that damn phone. And he goes, all you do is choke. Oh, that's it. You want all the smoke, but all you do is choke. You're doing nothing at Mania. He's like, I am. I'm facing John Cena. I'm a humble guy. You're doing nothing at Mania. Yeah, okay. Major Heat. People do not like Theory, and so you shouldn't.
No,
it's one of the
a bit of a knob. But he's a very entertaining one to watch.
I personally, I love watching heels work, because when I look at heels, for me personally, I just love it, because I know sometimes they can be the nicest people in the world. They're trying to play a heel, and my God, they are owning it. You know, I mean, here's a little news for you. Undertaker is one of the most religious people I've ever seen. He goes to church regularly, yet he played a dead man. And yet he was all about the devils and the spirits and the mystic forces. Yeah, right. Like, it's when you can... Undertaker said it best on the YouTube video he did with Ariel Helwani, I want to say. It is. Basically, with that, he literally said, people don't buy into the character. People don't protect their character. And I feel like that is so true. Like, you need to buy into your character. And again, that's why it worked how he did. Because,
I mean, you look at Miz as well. He's been acting like a knob for almost
because he is a knob.
15 years. But in real life, he's apparently quite a nice bloke, by all accounts.
Yeah. Like, Miz probably does a lot, you know. I'm just trying to help Money and Bobby out. But yeah, so they go at the end of it. Basically says, you haven't got what it takes, and he challenges Dawkins to a match.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this.
Was Dawkins the one he said he thought was better? Because he said he thought one was better than the other, and it was Dawkins I thought he said was better than Ford. Which
I hope is the start of a potential breakup between these two.
Yeah.
I love the Street Profits. I do. Please don't think I don't. But Montez Ford and Dawkins, both of them, so much potential to be amazing single stars. So much potential.
And they've had nothing to do since the Usos have.
Yeah. They've not done a lot, have they, really?
No.
Which is upsetting, because they're both talented as they're over as, you know, it's so absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's a bit upsetting, admitted, because they're not doing much, but hopefully they do. But we get Theory Dawkins, a little new addition to Theory's entrance. Don't know if you saw or you noticed.
Oh, I didn't notice anything.
So he stands there with his hands up in the air with the 8-arm down pose, and the lights go dark. His theme plays, but his actual Titantron doesn't. and he has his back to the people. He just stands there in a pose as he
Oh, I didn't
does,
realise that.
and then he drops it down, and it goes. There's a little pop and like a firework, just turns around and carries on with it. Little touch that basically just shows off how much of an egotistical prick he is. Yeah, so the whole thing of this was basically, can Dawkins beat Theory? Dawkins mauling Theory to start off with. We get a clean elbow.
Prediction.
Sorry, was Austin Theory.
Theory, yeah.
Yeah. You have him lose here. There's no point in him facing Cena. Let's be honest.
No.
We get. Oh yeah, everyone's going. We want Cena. Great back and forth. Really nice drop kick. 2 count for Dawkins. Well, against Dawkins. Baby Cena. I love that chant.
Yeah.
I love that chant. Again, compliment, not an issue. You know, I think it's one of those that it's. If you're being called Baby Cena, you're doing something right.
Yeah. So, like we've said, the amount of stuff he's done in this business, to be compared to him, is definitely a good thing, not a bad thing.
Yes. Then we get so Theory's in control. Dawkins punches the crap out of Theory. That looked like he generally knocked a sense or two out of him. There was a really nice reversal from Theory, in which case he dropped Dawkins. We get an ad break. And when we come back from when we come back from this ad break, show me the jokes is kind of the whole recurrent thing. You think you're funny, show me the jokes. Theory's in control again. There's a bit where basically hold on, let me just double check. Yeah, great throw from Dawkins. Dawkins starts his comeback. There's a lovely spinning back elbow. He makes that look clean. Spinning splash into the corner, followed by enziguri, then followed by a roll up. Dawkins spin slam is what I called it. Because I wasn't too sure about what it was at the time.
Yeah, no, it's probably a good enough name as any.
And then all of a sudden, Theory goes to jump and he just rugby tackles him in the air. Pretty much. This looked painful because it looks like it wasn't one of those lands that, you know, look good. When I say that, I mean it's more to do with the fact that I'm like, that looks like it hurts because you've just been pounced, you've just been launched. And then he hangs Theory on the top rope, in which case Theory then rolls through the rope and hits him with a stunning dropkick.
Yeah.
Tries to goes for a surprise pin. They reverse into another surprise pin. There's an enziguri from Dawkins again, which by the way doesn't sound like it connected at all. It just felt like it grazed his nose a little bit. And wicked right hand from Theory. Basically, Logan Paul's one lucky punch.
Yeah.
Hits the A-Town down for the 1, 2, 3. Before I go on to any other, what did you give this match?
I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I was a 3.5 out of 5. I love seeing Theory wrestle. I always will. And Dawkins. Dawkins, Montez, and Theory make up a really good trio. I'd love to see them in a triple threat because I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be good
as well.
And it was good because they definitely made Dawkins look like he shouldn't be overlooked for anything because he put up a strong showing, didn't he, throughout the match?
And we think we're finished. No. Theory goes straight in for the STF. And he's shouting at him, make the jokes! Make the jokes! STF was actually really in quickly and looked like it's painful. So fair play. Montez comes down and tries to save. Obviously, Theory being the heel that he is, gets out the ring and backs off. See you later. And he turns to him, gets out the hand like this, and goes, you can't see me. Which, nuclear heat.
Yeah.
And good. That's what he needs. Great idea, Fair. We go backstage. Who's out on the screen? We see it's Kathy Kelly and Paulie Dangerously. I mean, Paul Heyman. God damn it. I love the fact he was called Paulie Dangerously.
Yeah.
Let you go over this one.
Yep. We've got Paul. He comes along, says that the Bloodline have got a problem. and that problem is Kevin Owens. But tonight, that problem is going to be solved by the street champ Solo Sikoa in their street fight. And then he goes on to say that Cody has a problem, and
Yes.
the problem is he's made it personal with Roman Reigns, uh, telling Roman that he should be acknowledging Cody. Didn't go over well, and he then did one of his speeches, where he sort of really hypes up the fact that Roman's going to be appearing on either whatever it is, Raw or SmackDown. Is saying next week your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, will be appearing live in the center of the ring on Monday Night Raw. And so we're obviously building up to another Cody Roman confrontation next week.
Do you think they should fight before Mania, or just stay away from each other in terms of physical and wait till Mania?
Stay away from each other in terms of physical, I
Yeah.
think. But that's not to say Roman can't try and soften Cody up. I still think the either the SmackDown before WrestleMania, I think, yeah, SmackDown before WrestleMania or the Raw before WrestleMania, we're gonna have a triple threat match of Solo and the Usos versus Cody, KO, and Sammy.
Won't surprise me.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
su-
think it'd probably be more effective on the SmackDown before Mania because it'll be the night
Yeah,
before, won't it?
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I reckon that would work.
That way,
So
you're keeping Roman out of it, but you're also getting, because I think we're also going to. I still think we're going to get now Sammy KO versus the Usos at Mania.
yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, Sammy J's got a bigger part to play in this." And again, I didn't do a SmackDown review, apologies, but this is something I would have said: is that Sammy and Jay could potentially be working together. Jay never said anything with Roman. He said, "I've just got to protect my brother, and it's Sammy's fault," but never mentioned Roman. Right? There was nothing to do with Roman in that clause at all. So there is definitely a what if, but we'll see. I do want Jey Uso to super kick the crap out of Roman. I think it'd be amazing. But we'll see. Next we go on to probably one of the better promos actually of recent times, in my opinion.
Yeah. The Ray one.
I agree with Saul on this point. It's repetitive, but at the same time, is what I kind of said to Saul as well, was it is repetitive, but I don't think you could get away with this with any other two people than these two because of who they are. And it's Rey Mysterio, so as you know, it's going to be Dominic. And he comes out basically celebrating his Hall of Fame induction. And it's 20 years of Rey in the WWE. Mental.
Yeah, 2003, weren't it?
Yep.
What was it? 2002, 2003
Yeah.
he turned up, so yeah.
Was it last year he was celebrating 20 years of Rey, so it's 21 years now. And he goes, it's not just for Rey, it's for everyone in the audience, which is nice. Until Dominic, his son, I'm not going to swear, but the B son, decides to interrupt his father. Michael Cole sees this, he's going to have a field day. Major boos, let me tell you now, Dominic is the biggest heel in the business.
I thought it was quite good that because even Corey Graves is normally sort of championing Dom, because this was meant to be Ray's moment, he kept quiet and didn't say anything to sort of support Dom for this segment. He sort of left it as if they should just let Dom have his moment in front of the crowd. So I thought that was quite clever.
And as well, fair play to Dom. He carried a lot of this because he had to. His promo game's got a lot better. So he turns around, he's got Major Boos, and he goes, entire life. I'm glad you put your entire life into this business. Because it's all good, but you did it at the expense of me. He says, you are nothing but a stranger. You did it for all these strangers. There's massive you suck chants. He's like, you're no father of mine. You're supposed to show up to my 8th grade promotion. You promised you'd be there, but guess what? You weren't there. You were here entertaining these and not being there for your son.
And I like the next bit, the bit about the cars.
Yeah. I'll say something. Dom, the what chants are annoying. Dom played this very well. he goes, everyone's going, what? And he's like, a new car. What? I said a new car. What? And he goes, he promised me get a new car. I thought it was going to be Mercedes. But no, it was a BMW. I was like, how dare you, Ray? I was on Dom's side for a second. He goes, it's not even an M series. For God's sake, Dom.
He sounds that makes him sound like an even bigger tosser, don't it?
Yeah.
Because he's so ungrateful for. If he'd have said, "Oh, he didn't get any car," people might feel, "Oh, a bit sorry for him." But oh no, I got a BMW. Oh, boo hoo, Dom.
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant. And he turns around after that and he goes, you're a sad, ugly excuse for a father and a man. And he goes, I want to face you at Mania. And everyone in the crowd's going, yes, yes, yes. And Ray goes, no, I'm not fighting my son. Son,
yeah,
you may not believe me, but I still love you. No matter what, you're not having the match.
And the crowd didn't like that.
No, and do you know what? Rightfully so, because it's what you said. It's repetitive, and I think at this point, Ray should have hit his son. Ray should have laid a hand on his son, right? Because I think this should have ended a different way, and I'll get to that shortly. He goes, and that's your guy. He's walking away. What a coward. He's ran away from me, as he's done his entire life. What he should have turned around and said at the end is something along the lines of, yeah, it's fine. You ran away as per usual. Is that why Eddie ran away in the end? Right? Obviously, Eddie didn't do anything stupid. He had a heart attack, bless his soul, bless him, love him to bits. But that line would have been major heat, and that should have been the line that Ray goes, F you, boy, bang. Yeah, even Eddie ran away from you in some way. That should be...
My issue is, what is it going to take now to get Ray into this match? Because it's got to be a match at WrestleMania. We've talked about it, haven't we? We've said this feud has gone on, and they've got to do something between the two of them at WrestleMania. But what is going to be the thing to push Ray into doing it? It's like that thing you've just said about Eddie. That would be something, but I'm just at a loss of how they're ever going to get there.
Yeah. I just, exactly what you said, I just don't see a way that Ray now, because he already said about Eddie last week, you know, so I don't know. But I do love this feud, admittedly, regardless of what's, like, it being repetitive, as you said. I do love this feud. I think it's a very tasty feud, and again, it would only work because it's Ray and Dom, father and son.
Father and son. If it had been two guys who weren't related, and they were like former tag team partners or something, and this was carrying on, by now people would have just grown tired of it, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
With nothing happening.
So then,
Trish comes out.
Yes, that's it.
Medical bit. She's not hurt, just pissed off. But if you look at the side of her face, she's definitely a little bit hurt.
She's definitely hurt. She says, "You've done the worst thing possible." She said, "You pissed me off." Okay. And Corey Graves is like, "Oh, it's great. We're getting Miz on commentary. I've never wanted to put myself in a river so much." All right. Did you get this reference, by the way, to start off with? So it's the WrestleMania advert. It's Rhea Ripley wearing some kind of weird head brace thingy. And
I didn't get the adverts on the thing I watched, so I didn't see any of this.
So basically, Rhea Ripley's got this like head brace on. It's like one of those psychotic ones you have on that kind of scans your brain waves.
Okie doke. Yeah.
She's in like a white clad wall, like an asylum wall, or room, sorry. And I'm thinking, okay, it's John Cena on commentary, right? Behind. They're saying, do you have what it takes? Because their time is up, your time is now. But it's a Stranger Things setting for what I've read. I didn't get the reference at all. And I thought Stranger Things is a series, not a film, so it could be something else.
Stranger Things is a series, yeah.
Yeah, she lets out this massive scream at the end. From what I've seen, it's a Stranger Things reference. I didn't get it personally, but Rhea looked cool as hell doing
Mhm.
whatever the hell she did.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
have to see if I can find that.
yeah, have a look afterwards. Then we move on to, well, Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah. Well, did we? I don't think the audience need to know who we thought was going to win this.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be The Miz.
The Miz.
Oh, wait, no. It's
No.
Seth versus Corbin,
Corbin.
and it's the prediction's Seth.
Seth. Yeah.
And if it wasn't Seth, I'd be honest, I think I was going to have a major issue with the everything.
Yeah. Corbin. But they'd have to then have Corbin versus Logan at Mania.
So how many lines did you have for this?
5 lines.
I had a few, and again, it's more moves than actual
Mhm.
stuff that happened. So Corbin starts off strong.
Yeah, he attacked from behind before the bell,
Yeah.
didn't he? So that's why he started off strong.
Yes. Typical heel. Then the bell
Mhm.
rings, and basically Corbin why'd I put Corbin being used?
Because Seth was beating him up and.
Oh yeah, so
throwing him
yeah, that
about.
was it. So Seth comes back, and basically Corbin ends up being used, like he's just getting launched everywhere.
Yeah.
And everyone's go whoa as you do.
Mm.
Clothesline over the top.
Mhm.
Sends him out, and it's we've now got to call it the unalived dive.
Yeah.
I guess you can think what word I'm replacing.
Yeah.
I've noticed in YouTube a lot of people say it's unalived, so it's now the
Mhm.
unalived dive.
Yeah.
Then we get a glance in the
I've
by the
already used the S word earlier in the stream, in the podcast, I think. So I'll now use the unalived word from now
if
on.
you did. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I don't think you did, but anyway.
Yeah, when Cody jumped through the ropes.
Yes, of
And
course,
got
yes, yeah.
punched by
Yeah.
LA Knight.
I'm pretty sure it's fine. We can use it, but I've just seen a lot of people use it unalived instead. Glancing knee, which, by the way, this glancing knee, it didn't look like he hit him at all.
He sold it like it knocked 7 bells
Yeah,
out.
and he basically goes, "Oh, can you hear him, Mikey?" And everyone's go, "Oh," and Miz is like, "This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life." So then, Corey Graves turns around and goes, "I don't know, maybe Shark's on par."
Yes.
Chucks Corbin into the Miz.
Yeah.
Then eats a super kick, Enzuigiri to the Miz. They're both in the ring on the floor. He jumps on Miz over onto Corbin to give him the stomp. Nice finish, admitted, but a crap match. 2 out of 5.
Yeah, 2 out of 5. And
For
I
a
didn't
Seth
think
Rollins
I'd be doing
match.
that. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was about to say. Didn't think I'd be giving the Seth Rollins match 2 out of 5.
Disappointing, and that's because of the shenanigans. Shenanigans! That is because it's just, yeah, I'm not.
I wasn't loving that match.
Yeah, you can do so much better with Seth and Corbin here. There's no reason for him to have this match. Really, is the knowing that he's facing Logan Paul, like.
Is we've got we had this Seth Corbin match, and now we've got another slightly meh match as well, haven't we?
Yes.
Bianca versus. Oh no! First of all, we've got Chad finding Otis. At last, he's found his friend.
So just before we get to that, Chad Gable goes and talks to someone, and they go, "Oh, you never know. What you're looking for could be right around the corner." Mustafa Ali, the positivity, Ali. And he goes, "Oh, what you're looking for could be right around the corner." And he goes around the corner, and there's Otis.
Yeah,
I like that. I thought that was quite funny. Otis and Mansoor goes, "Hey, Chaddy Daddy." No, never again. Chad Gable is not Chaddy Daddy.
Chaddy Daddy, that would be a good Chaddy Daddy and Otis.
No, sorry, it was Ali that said Chaddy Daddy. My bad. Re-look back. It was Ali that said Chaddy Daddy, and I goes, "I hate this Ali positivity deal. It's crap. Don't like it." And he basically tells Ali to shoosh and get off. Anyway, he goes over and he finds Otis, and he gets called a goblin.
Yeah,
he gets called a golem, and he also says that Mansoir broke one of his nails, so he's cosmetically unable to compete.
He's not cosmetically cleared to
That's the
compete
one,
in a match.
Look, say what you want about the maximum models. They are funny and they do get the job done. And having Otis there is actually a good element, I believe. I think it's a very good addition if they go ahead with it.
As we've said, they can then push Gable to actually be a serious singles wrestler, hopefully going for one of the mid-card titles. And I think Otis would fit in quite well with maximum male models.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, Vince is back in charge. Otis is a funny jobber. Yeah. He's a funny guy in general. Not a jobber, but he's a funny guy in general. And he works with these type of sticks. It's why people forget that the Alpha Academy are still jobbers. Nothing's changed. He's just gone for the, oh yeah, gimmick. And rightfully so. And Gable's like, look, if you want to do this, I'll join in with you. And he starts doing some poses. And Maxwell's like, you broke my camera. And Marseille goes, you gave me the ick. You've got an ick about you. Ick factor. Yeah, I don't like this ick. And he basically says, I forgot her name, Maxine Dupree says something that's like, oh, gross. And he's about to go off, and he's like, oh, we'll go and get our gym session in. Maxine calls Otis, and he goes, sorry, coach, and slaps him and just follows her.
And I never thought I'd be saying this at the start of the year, but I really do feel sorry for Chad Gable now because he's lost his mate.
Yeah.
He's gone to all that trouble making those posters and looking for his friend, and then it's like when the cool kids invite one of the nerds at school into their group.
This was amazing. So, then we get Bianca versus Chelsea Green.
Bianca versus Karen.
Prediction.
Bianca. Okay, this is one of my problems right at the moment, is certain wrestlers being put in matches just prior to WrestleMania. They can't lose because it kills all momentum for them. Like Bianca shouldn't be losing against Chelsea Green if she's got to face Asuka at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'll get onto this a bit later because
Seth shouldn't be losing against.
Yeah, Seth shouldn't lose against Corbin. Cody shouldn't really lose against LA Knight. Although LA Knight put a good showing in, there's the difference there, don't they?
Yeah, and again, Theory versus Dawkins. Theory shouldn't be losing, but Dawkins put in a good showing. So there's certain ways to do it to make people look good, but yeah, you kind of know who's going to actually win the match.
Yeah. Like I say, it's one of those that you want to put on a good showing. And I remember the Austin Theory Seth. Realistically, that should have been the 5-star match I gave ages ago. Should have realistically been, a loss to Theory. And it was, but he looked damn good, and that's probably why he's been pushed kind of where he has. Yeah. Anyway, so Chelsea Green's got a half-decent theme song. I quite like it. It's alright.
I liked her hat.
Yeah, do you know what? Her attire and her hat. She's definitely pulling off the old gimmick from TNA / Impact. She's got the gear and the gimmick look for it. And she's very much a Karen. But I don't think these two can work well together. I think Chelsea Green is a good wrestler. I think Bianca's a great wrestler. These two just didn't seem to have chemistry. Is the thing I'm going for here. Scramble to start. Bianca Chelsea Green manhandles Bianca again. Something that shouldn't really be happening.
Yeah, Bianca's meant to be like apart from Rhea, probably the strongest woman. In WWE.
Bianca gets back on top, hits Chelsea with a backbreaker. Standing moonsault from Bianca to Chelsea, 2 count. We get a super kick onto the from Carmella on the outside to Bianca, 2 count. Roll through pin again. No. Backstabber, which didn't look like it connected at all.
No.
Chelsea went to eat turnbuckle. She didn't hit the turnbuckle at all. She kind of glanced it. Sidewalk slam from Bianca. Bianca come back. Stalling suplex-ish because she couldn't get her up for the suplex.
Yeah, no, that didn't look good either.
Then knees from Green, which were semi-effective.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 count, we get a slap, and basically Bianca punches it into the KOD for the win.
Yeah, there's also a bit where Carmella was on the ropes and she sort of got knocked off, but the fall looked bloody atrocious.
Yeah.
It's like the shoes she was wearing, she didn't feel comfortable moving about in them. And she had those big boots, sort of combat boots on, and yeah. It,
Yeah, again, I'm just not into this
this
mini
whole
feud.
thing. I mean, post match, I'm hoping that maybe we might actually end up with
Oh.
Chelsea versus Carmella.
Yeah.
Because the same thing, remember last week with the
So,
Poison Mist?
before we go any further, the match.
Mm-hmm.
What rating did you give it?
Uh,
I gave it a 1 out of 5.
I gave it a 1.5 out of 5.
That's fair. I also put, you know what this match needs? It's the FCC. And if you don't know, me and Saul are playing My Rise on 2K22 at the moment.
Two of them. Mm-hmm.
And the fireman's carry cutter, which is basically you put them on, and instead of doing F5, you do it the other way. So you go into like RKO motion. Instead of calling it the fireman's carry cutter, because I cannot be asked for that, it is the FCC.
And it actually sounds pretty cool, FCC.
Yeah, so it's become a staple. And I'm just saying, if one of the divas pulls out an FCC, it's a strong, effective move. It could work. You know, it's one of those where you've got to pick them up onto your shoulders, turn them, and plant them down in a cutter motion. It could look good for a superstar. But yeah, that's a 1 out of 5. I hate this. Right, post match. The first bit I didn't mind. So post beatdown again, which didn't look effective. Carmella punches were awful.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green basically takes the crap again.
Yeah.
So it could lead to a Carmella Chelsea Green. Yeah, I'm not excited for that if it does.
No.
However, if it does, it does. If it doesn't,
get them away from Bianca Belair. I'll say that because we learn later on what we've got next week, don't we?
Yeah, which for crying out loud. But then we get Asuka to come down to even up the odds. Right. First of all, Asuka playing games. She's got the title. She's doing a guitar motion for some reason. I don't know why. She's playing the guitar. Okay, cool.
NWO Oscar.
Yeah. Do you know what? Don't mind it. I think that's pretty cool now you say that. But then, I hate this. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not interested in a Bianca Asuka match. Because I don't know who's supposed to be the face. I don't know who's supposed to be the heel. I don't know if they're supposed to be face. Both of them are the same. I don't know what's going off. Because, I just don't understand where you're going with this.
Because I thought this version of Oscar was being marketed as being a heel because it's the character that apparently kills people. And
yeah, but she's got no face paint on. Yeah, I think Asuka's one of those you can't really turn a heel because the crowd love her regardless. I think again with Seth can be a heel and he's a great heel, but they love him regardless of being a heel. You don't hate him for it. You love him for being a heel, which is not, it's that. So I hated that first bit. I don't like the NWO. I mean, I hate Hulk Hogan anyway, which you actually find out in the showcase. Not the showcase, sorry, in the pack opening that I did for 2K23. I got Hulk Hogan and immediately tried to discard him. Turns out I can't. I'm upset. But then she starts laughing because she has blue in her mouth, which is the blue mist stuff.
Yeah.
She just starts laughing.
And yeah, she just
this was
insane.
Awkward.
But not like scary insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
So what are you doing? How much crack have you snorted before you come out to the show? That kind of insane.
A mad cat lady or something, yeah.
Oh, I hated this. I really hate this build. This is, I'm not interested. I thought I wasn't interested for Roman Cody, right? In the basis of the storyline, I'm just not interested in Asuka Bianca one bit. And it's not Bianca, it's Asuka. Bianca looks confused. She doesn't look like she knows what she needs or wants to do with it. It's so off-putting. It's so weird. Anyway.
The thing is, Bianca's always had like a proper heel with Bailey.
Yeah.
Becky at the time was proper heel. She's always had someone that she's the good guy and they're the bad guy. But with this Oscar stuff, it's a bit, as we've said, confusing, isn't it? Lines are very blurred.
Yeah. Then we get the recap of Brock and Omos, and this is why I know what happened in that segment because I watched it. Yeah, I hate it. I'm not happy for Omos Brock. I want Brock to destroy Omos. And it's what we said. The spectacle, I think, with, and I said this to my dad. Me and Dad were talking. The spectacle, I think, with Brock and Omos, and if it's Brock's last match, Brock wins.
Yeah.
Because he basically goes, "Oh my God, you've just F5'd Omos." That's the spectacle I think we're going for. We're not going for, oh, Omos could beat Brock here. No, we're going for, can Brock suplex and F5 this giant man? He's done it to Mark Henry, he's done it to Big Show, he's done it to Braun Strowman, he's done it to Kane.
Strowman, yeah.
Can he do it to Omos? The answer is yes, he clearly can. Can Omos sell it? Probably not. But I think
that's the issue, isn't it? Omos selling.
Yeah,
stuff.
if Brock's going to go out, I think he wants to go out looking like a beast, going, "I've just suplexed the biggest guy on the roster." But the issue is, the biggest guy on the roster feels like Cody Rhodes to me, and not Omos. Because it doesn't matter how actually big you are, 7'3", it matters how big you are persona-wise, and Omos is at the bottom of the list. He's the biggest, he is the biggest, tallest man, but the littlest. Rey Mysterio is the complete. This is why Rey Mysterio works. He's the biggest little man.
Yeah.
Because his charisma is that big. It feels like he's a giant. It almost feels like he's Rey Mysterio size because there's no charisma about him, and it's enough. And again, when you're rubbing your hands for 4 minutes straight, it looks like crap. Oh, you're rubbing your hands. Okay, what are you hungry? Are you what?
Yeah.
Have you got a nervous twitch? Because I know people. Actually in real life that rub their hands because they have a nervous twitch. Right? Not making fun of the nervous twitch, but I know people that do that. So is that a genuine Omos thing of him being nervous and rubbing his hands together? But there's no context behind Omos. It's like he's hungry. What's he hungry for? Being able to sell. Anyway, so Solo, it's now time for the main event after that squabble. It's Solo Sikoa's theme. Oh my God, he looks amazing. Solo main event again. I'm very happy for him. He deserves to be in the main event spot. Absolutely. Next week on Raw, we have Austin Theory versus Montez Ford. I'm looking forward to that.
Excited for that one, yeah.
Yes. Bianca and Asuka versus Chelsea Green and Carmel. Yep. Roman returns to Raw and Impulsive TV.
I'm looking forward to those two bits. Like I say, the one thing that I'm not looking forward to was the bit that I met with silence just now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us and they'll pull out a 5-star classic.
Joe, Asuka just needs to destroy everybody and just be like, "Yo, Bianca, look what I can do. Can you do that?" That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, that would be good if Asuka went Bianca, Chelsea, and Carmella in that match, and she's standing in the center of the ring at the end. That would be pretty impressive.
But then we get on to probably something that saved a lot of the show. And
the street fight.
You said this. This needed longer. You said what was it? 10 minutes in the end? We figured it out as.
Because the thing I was watching it on, the final section was like an 18-minute section. By the time Solo got his first punch in, there was literally 8 minutes. No, it was on 8 minutes, and there was 18 minutes total left. So it was 10 minutes we had for this, which is it did seem a bit longer than that because it was good, but it definitely it could have done with at least another sort of 5-10 minutes if you ask me.
So the good thing about this, it's a street fight, and Solo is the street champion. So with that being said, who's your prediction on Solo?
Solo, because they're not going to have Solo with
Solo's not lost since his debut. And rightfully so, it works. They start off, they just want to beat each other up, and I love it. It's a big fight feel. Solo is the street champ, as I've said. There's a big elbow from Solo. Goes for a cannon. Never mind. You've missed the cannonball. It's not happened. Uppercut to KO. KO goes into the barricade. And something that sets up probably the best part of Towards the Night is we want tables.
Yeah.
KO gets chucked into the barricade. However, he then runs and clotheslines Solo.
Yeah.
Starts standing on his fingers, which is just...
that looked painful. Although we've seen worse things with fingers and bricks and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you've not already, watch AEW Revolution. What a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What a pay-per-view.
The triple threat... no, not the tag team match for the triples titles and the...
Hangman
match. They were the picks for me of that pay-per-view.
The whole pay-per-view was good. Like, the whole pay-per-view was genuinely good. MJF and Daniel Bryan was a banger as well, to be fair.
It wasn't like this where you get some good matches and then 2 or 3 duds. They were all pretty decent matches, weren't they?
The only match, as Saul rightfully said, and I agree with Saul on this, the only match that suffered was Wardlow Samoa Joe, because it was just after Hangman and John Moxley. And
you weren't going to get anywhere near that match. It was that match, the Moxley Hangman was insane. And then, unfortunately, you had to have someone after it, and it was Wardlow and Samoa Joe. And the match itself was perfectly fine, but it did feel a bit sort of after you'd been through the Texas Death Match.
Going back to WWE, Kevin hits a big chop on Solo. Solo then decides to start smashing Kevin's head in onto the announce table, which, by the way, Kevin sells those like a dream. They look like he's actually ringing his bell senseless.
Yeah.
Then Kevin gets Solo. He's like, do you know what you can do, you're going to get 2. Bang, bang. Just, again, already I'm hyped about this match. I love KO. I love Solo. These two obviously have great matches, and Solo's carrying again a lot of this match again. So they've got a lot of trust in him, right? Then we get back in the ring, and basically there's a really nice looking Samoan drop, which looks like Kevin gets really hurt by, but it's just the way he's selling. Solo's in control. KO rolls out. The chairs are now out. So I think we had an ad break there. We come back from ad break.
KO throwing the chairs into the ring.
KO is launching chairs into the ring, and he first of all, Solo eats steel steps, which, by the way, that looked like it hurt more than anything, because the way he went into those steps, that did not look fun at all. But then again, if they want to take those bumps, they take those bumps, I guess. I'm not. And they all shouted tables. Everyone's, oh my god, KO's got a table. So Solo hits him with a super kick. Throws KO over the desk. Solo's got the table. What do you do with it, Saul?
I don't know. It was horrible. That's all I'm saying.
He puts the table back. He grabs the table and slides it back under the ring.
Yes.
This, honestly, is one of the best heel things I've seen in a while. I love this. I got a pop. I'm like, you bellend. I popped, and I don't pop.
We want tables.
We want tables. So that's like, yeah, no one lucky. And literally, pushes it back on the ring, puts the apron down, carries on with the match. We went straight to ads because he's Solo's doing like a face. He's going there, and all that. We go to ads.
Bear in mind, we've had. To be fair, you probably that 8 minutes doesn't include that. I had 10 minutes I had left doesn't include ad breaks. It was all match.
Again, why so many ad breaks in the main event? It doesn't make sense. Second hour, chuck them in anyway. So we've got KO, and KO is basically I forgot to put it. Anyway, so basically, he nearly takes. I think he chucks another chair in, and he nearly takes out the ref with a chair. Solo gets chaired. Solo is undefeated at this point, is what they've said. And basically, we get to a point where KO's setting up the chairs in like a table formation. 3 chairs one side, 3 chairs the other. And I put who's going through the chairs. Now, what's rule number 1 of setting up a table, Saul?
If you set it up, you're more than likely going to go through it yourself.
So what's the rule number 1 of chairs now, Saul?
If you set them up, you're more than likely to go through them yourself.
And what happens?
Oh, someone went through the tables, and surprise, surprise,
Yeah.
it's well,
Kevin Owens. Yeah, so
Kevin Owens.
so you had the chair set up in like a 2x3. So it was like chair. And KO set him up. KO gets launched onto the back of them. That looks painful because he lands square on him, mind you. My ad. We get a 2 count from that. Then there's a boot to the face.
I thought that was going to be it.
Yeah,
at that point.
I kind of wanted that to be it.
Little time there was left, yeah.
I wanted that to be it, but at the same time, yeah. So then he gets boot to the face. He eats a steel post. Solo eats the post twice. Cannonball, and they start fighting to the crowd. Oh my god! Okay, we all fight all the way to the stage, and we go backstage. Now this caught me off guard. And again, I like this ingenuity. It's a bit different. So they go backstage. KO's following Solo backstage, and you think to yourself, okay, what they're going to do, because they're going to show everyone backstage and who's working, who's obviously Triple H and all them's behind the curtain. But before they get any further, next minute, 2 legs come out of nowhere. It's Jimmy and Jey Uso. They've just super kicked the crap out of Kevin. I'm like, oh. And they literally grab him and drag him by his hand all the way from backstage to the ring. I loved it. Puts him into the ring, gives him another super kick. Solo picks him up, calls for the Samoan spike, hits the Samoan spike. Saw that landing from KO.
Yeah, it looks heavy.
Yeah. He sold it incredibly. Like, KO sold this incredibly. And Solo picks up the 1, 2, 3. I gave this match a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 4. I think this match probably the best of the night, and it sort of saved things a bit after the trash that we'd had, the trashy matches we'd had beforehand.
Because I ended up giving the show 3 out of 5.
I was slightly more generous. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
There. Before we end with the awards and stuff like that, KO was sick. KO actually puked. He threw up.
Was this during the match? Or...
This was after. So after you hit the spike, and they're all celebrating towards the ramp, it cuts back to KO, and he's actually being sick. He's puking. It looks like phlegm. It could be sick, but he threw up. I don't know if that was legit sick, or if it's storyline based. If it is storyline based, I think it's more to do with the fact that it's KO not saying he doesn't need any help. And he looks so bad. He looks so vulnerable. He's just been sick because he's been at the Samoan spike.
Yeah.
You know. So maybe it's a storyline thing, but regardless, he was sick. He actually puked. So yeah. Now here's the tough part, I'd say. It's now time for the Ring of Honor Wrestler of the Week.
Yeah. And
the Omos Worst Wrestler of the Week.
Yeah.
Because Omos has the award now for the Worst Wrestler of the Week.
Yeah.
Well, he's the award. It's like the Daniel Bryan Technical Wrestler Award, which Daniel Bryan won.
Yeah. He can win his own award, and I think he's going to have to.
Yeah. I actually, if I'm honest, I've got 2 people for the worst. It's Omos, quite clearly. It's Omos. And Joe, my other one. It's gonna
someone from the women's match.
Let me have a quick gander. It's gonna be Elias.
Elias, yeah, that's a fair one actually.
The women's match wasn't bad, but even with the Bianca and Chelsea Green stuff, I feel like they could have a better match, but they've got no chemistry. And at least they tried to have a bit more of a match than what Bronson and Elias did. Elias just they did a 2-week rivalry. Rick Booge has gone, oh yeah, Elias wants to fight. Okay, cool. Bronson Reed squashed him, and that's it. That's your rivalry done. It's not one of those really crappy WWE 2K20 rivalries. The 2K20 game rivalries, they were awful.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say either Omos or Elias for that. just simply because, well, I'll be completely honest with you.
Almost always gets it.
Like, again, it's nothing against Omos, right? It's not against Omos.
But he just can't do anything. It's not
Yeah,
that we don't like that. I'd love to be able to say, "Oh yeah, he's done really well this week," but he doesn't. He doesn't do anything apart from rub his
it's
hands.
difficult for Omos to get anywhere. Putting with
Mm,
MVP, the only time I liked him was with AJ Styles, and even then I was a
hmm
bit meh about him. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I just think Omos's whole gimmick of I'm 7'3", I'm Nigerian, and I weigh 416 pounds, but maybe
Mm,
I don't because my Titantron said 403 pounds is a crap gimmick.
mm,
I don't care if he's a giant. The Big Show was a giant, he could wrestle. Mark Henry was a
yeah.
giant, he could bloody wrestle.
hmm
Undertaker was 6 foot bloody 10. He
hmm
can wrestle. He's had the best career potentially of any
hmm
WWE superstar. Omos just doesn't fit the bill.
No, it's
But the best.
okay. Oh, this one was pretty easy for me this week,
I
mainly
think
because
you're gonna say
yeah,
who you're gonna say. I think I might agree with you here.
it was because of he had considering the matches on here, he had a decent match and he had an excellent promo afterwards. So I'm going to say Cody Rhodes.
There, I'm gonna say Solo Sikoa.
Mhm.
I love Cody, and his promo was incredible. But I
Mhm.
think Solo being in the main event again is deserved.
Mm.
And he looked menacing. He literally battered Kevin Owens.
Mm.
Obviously got good offense in either side, but the way they portrayed Solo, yes, he had interruption from the Usos, admitted, but he's just spiked KO and made him sick.
At the moment,
It's a
I think Solo's more unstoppable than Roman.
Yeah, easily.
Personally,
Yeah. And that
yeah.
could be a storyline. There
Mhm.
could be a storyline. Roman's not lost since, 900 days or something stupid like that.
Mhm.
But I just think, for me, Solo over Cody, for the simple case of Solo doesn't talk.
No, he's a.
And I think
Yeah,
that's.
I don't think I've ever noticed him talk. But he's not mute, is he? Like
No.
Dexter's supposed to be.
No.
He just.
He screams and has moments.
Mm.
I just think it's one of those where Cody having the promo, again, I love Cody and he's probably second on this on for mine.
Mm.
But Solo doesn't need a promo. And he's
Mm.
still over as hell. He still looks amazing. So, obviously, we agree to disagree. But for me,
Mhm.
Solo's my top one. Saul, yours is Cody.
Cody.
We
Mhm.
both agree on Omos being the worst. I think we.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what we need to do from now on is Omos should get your own award if you're on Raw. If you're not, and then someone else can have it. But look, Omos, you botched it over the top rope spot.
Yeah, that was what did it for me. That I just thought so just getting him over the rope, he couldn't even do something as simple as throw someone over a rope. Because half the time when you're throwing them over a rope, they're using their own momentum to try and
Yes.
help you get out. Help them. It was just no, no, almost no, no. He's going to be on there next week, isn't he? He's going to be on Raw
He's
next
got to
week.
be realistically as well.
Yeah, because
Um,
they've got to build this to Mania now, so we're getting him every week.
Give up already. How many Raws we got left? We have got
Two,
20,
I
20
believe.
2 Raws left. They
hmm
they need to sort something out because I don't know if we'll see what happens on SmackDown.
Things they've got to sort out before WrestleMania for me
Yeah,
from Raw. Sort out Dom and Rey
Ray
Mysterio. Do something with this Omos Brock thing because,
Call by me is shocking.
yeah. Um, and
Bianca
I
Asuka
suppose now,
needs a helping
yeah,
hand.
Bianca Oscar, and also figure out what the hell we're doing with Bobby Lashley now
Yes, because obviously Bray
because
Wyatt is
Bray's
potentially injured.
injured. Yeah.
So yeah, we will see. But that
Oh, also
God,
got to sort out if we're going to get Sammy and Kevin
yes,
reconciled. So you've
yeah.
got a
There's a
few things
lot.
that they've got to get done.
Yeah, a few bits indeed. But that is everything for the Raw reflection
Raw reflection.
this week. Let us know in the comments down below who you think is the best or worst of the week. Let us know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, show some love on the videos, and we will see you more than likely for 2 videos this week. I will do the SmackDown review. I was very tired from my work week, and it's not an excuse, but I was knackered, and I apologise. Should have done the SmackDown review. I didn't get it done, but I promise you this Friday we'll get it done. And also on my channel, there's going to be a hell of a lot of 2K23 content on there, regarding my faction, regarding matches in general, just 2K itself. I can't wait to delve into the game properly and get a really good hands-on feel for the game.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of what you do on it, mate.
And there is a
Mr.
potential
Slammy Rammy Woo Woo.
Slammy Rammy Woo Woo. And if Saul does get the game, do expect potentially GM mode on this channel for 2K23. It's online this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So potentially you could see me take SmackDown as usual, as I do most Fridays, and you can take Raw, and we'll see what we do.
I'm definitely not taking NXT UK.
I don't think they're on it this year.
Oh, good, I don't know. Because apparently there's 4 brands on it this year.
Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and I'm pretty sure it's NXT Level Up.
So right.
I think it's a Level Up because they've got the arenas in there.
Work, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll have a look actually when I get into it. We'll have a look afterwards. But yes, guys, thank you all for watching. We will see you next time.
Take it easy, people. Bye-bye.